Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ewoks and Wookiees, may the 4th be with you as the Gadget Gurus podcast coming to you live on Star Wars Day. What up? Nick Ball, you look depressed. Are you not happy? Because it's Star Wars Day, so you should be happy.
Yeah.
I'd like all our viewers to take note of my dope ass shirt here.
Oh, I was going with my Princess Leia t-shirt. I knew I forgot something.
Look at that. Look at how sexy that is. Also take note. Look at that. Oh man. Oh my god. I can't even fit my arm in the God, I love the way this shirt hugs my biceps. Star Wars biceps. These are the things I enjoy. I enjoy a good bicep, I'm not going to lie. What's up with you, Vic, on Star Wars Day?
Nothing, man. Just cleaning out the apartment. About it.
Did you get evicted?
Nope.
Get it? Evicted?
That's what you did there.
That's good stuff. I changed. I feel better.
Oh, much better.
Look at that. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's beautiful, yeah. That's good stuff. I like that show. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Years ago.
No. It's not like a generic Target shirt, you know?
Oh, fuck no. It was like a $50... Some fucking rap company made this shit.
Nice. Some fucking rap company. I like it. If that's not the name of a company, we need to... somefuckingrapcompany.com right now.
Wait, for some reason your feed is in high def.
No, my feed literally is like pixelated, and I have no idea why.
Can't even read your name barely down there.
It's always like that. It's weird.
Always like that. Always. I have no idea why. 64-bit Chrome. I don't know. I really don't know. I got no answers.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we're the Gadget Gurus. You guys can find us on thegadgetgurus.net. For those of you that listen to the show frequently, you can support the Gurus if you enjoyed the show. Go to thegadgetgurus.net and click on Support the Gurus link. For as little as $1 a month, you guys can help sponsor the show and support us. Also, if you don't want to do anything that costs you money because you're cheap, that's fine, because Nick Ball is cheap. And I appreciate his cheapness. And you guys can just roll to iTunes and just give us a 5-star rating and, why you listen to the show, or even give a 1-star rating and tell us why you don't like the show. Whatever. Head over to iTunes and give us a rating. It really helps us out, and we'll love you forever, or for at least 3 months. 90 days is about iTunes review. 90 days worth of love. That's about fair. If you'd like to send us an email, podcast@thegadgetgurus.net. So if you want to reach out to us directly, that hits me right up on the celly. If you guys send us an email, I get it right away, and I'm pretty quick to respond because I care, and I'm a caring fella. That's what I do. This is happening. I'm being interrupted.
I like how she told you this is happening.
I know, so this is happening. She said something to me like, we were at Sam's Club earlier, and I was like, I gotta go see if they have turkey jerky, and she's like, this is a priority? I was like, yes! I gotta go get turkey jerky in like a giant duffel bag. Dude, I got a 66-ounce can of tuna today. Let that sink in.
A 66-ounce
can?
Yeah,
like a normal can of tuna.
5 pounds?
Yeah, a normal can of tuna is 4 ounces. So
yeah, it's a little over 4 pounds of tuna.
Yeah, that's and I got like a 3-liter thing of olive oil. I love Sam's Club. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have that 3 liters of olive oil for 3 years.
No, dude, I'm
Maybe
Italian.
6.
I'll have it for 3 weeks.
Oh God, olive oil. It's such a strong taste.
If you see how much olive oil I use, one, I like to get in my healthy fats, and olive oil is, if you follow any good advice, olive oil is actually one of the shittiest healthy fats, but it nonetheless is better than some other stuff out there. So I use it to cook with. Coconut oil is actually really good.
That's what I use.
Coconut oil is, or if you get just straight up MCT oil, you can just drizzle that all over your food and you're good to go. So I like some fats. I like my fats.
Olive oil has a really low smoke point, that I can't cook with. So that's why I go with the coconut oil.
It depends on what I cook. Like if I make like I do a lot of ground turkey burgers, and what I'll do is I'll actually mix the olive oil in with the ground meat before I put it on the on the grill or whatever I'm using.
So what do you see? You buy like a 90-10 and then mix in some olive oil to bring it closer to 80-20?
Well, no, I actually get 85-15, and then I throw in the olive oil to fatten that shit up.
To get it to closer to like a 75-25.
Yeah. Let me get all that fat. Let me get all that healthy fat in there, because you know, that's just how my body responds. I lose weight. I gain definition when I'm on a phase of trying to not bulk up. I just eat a shit ton of fat, keep my protein pretty normal, and cut out carbs, and boom, abs. They just show up. Thanks, olive oil. Thanks, coconut oil.
I think that's why I choose Popeye's girlfriend.
Yeah, she knows what's up. She's like, you need olive oil to go with that spinach, because the green shit ain't doing you no favors by itself. You got to have some butter. You got to have some olive oil in that shit. My name happens to be olive oil. That's why he got those guns. It had nothing to do with spinach. It was olive oil. So, yeah, I put the show notes in here, but we're going to jump around a little bit. Seeing as how it's May the 4th, Star Wars Day, we'll cover some Star Wars related stuff first, and then we'll jump to the regular tech stuff. So, I guess the biggest news, at least in Star Wars territory, is Episode 7. The casting was finally announced. So it's been rumored for I don't even know how long that the original cast was going to come back. So Luke, Leia, Han, you know, the original 3 were going to be there. But we didn't know the scope of anyone really else. There's a lot of rumors. Benedict Cumberbatch, whatever, the guy that plays Sherlock, he was also in Star Trek. Khan. There was rumors he was going to be. So there's all kinds of shit floating around, all kinds of rumors going. But we actually got the official announcement sometime last week. So there is, in fact, the original trilogy. We've got Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Peter Mayhew's coming back, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, then some other people that are actually relatively unknowns. We got John Boyega. He was at a movie Attack the Block, apparently. I don't know. I don't watch that. Adam Driver. I'm probably going to butcher everyone's name, so my bad. Domhnall Gleeson? The fuck kind of name is that? Oscar Isaac, Daisy Ridley, Andy Serkis. Oh, this guy's got a fucking sweet-ass name. Max von Sydow. That's how I'm saying it. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's a good name right there. We don't know who they're playing, so obviously, you know, the original trilogy are gonna original cast are gonna pick up their characters. So you know, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, R2D2, C3PO, Chewbacca. You know, they're gonna be them. They're gonna play themselves, or never mind. You know what I'm trying to fucking say. Yeah. What do you guys think about the casting? I mean, I know, Nick, we talked like half a second about it on Hangouts. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, as you all know, so, or you may not know, but I am a huge Star Wars fan. So I am excited beyond belief to see another, you know, legit Star Wars movie on the big screen. But with that said, I'm cautiously optimistic at the same time, because you never know with this sort of thing. I was a fan of the prequels. I had no problems with them. I mean, other than you know, just the usual movie problems. But like, I'm not like, fuck the prequels. You know, I enjoy them. Revenge of the Sith is probably one of my. I think that one and Empire Strikes Back are my 2 favorite Star Wars movies of all time. So there you have it. Nick, what are you thinking about? At least looking at the casting. I mean, are these guys too old? Are you worried? What's up? How do you feel?
I'm excited. I'm far more excited about these than I was about 1, 2, and 3. The fact that they're bringing back the cast is just a wonderful thing. It means, you know, the story's not going to be. It's not going to be so far in the future that it doesn't matter anymore. Which the 1, 2, and 3 were so far in the past that a lot of it seemed irrelevant.
It was hard to relate. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you had Darth Vader, but you know, we knew him after he was so far gone from Anakin that
Right.
anybody could be Anakin, and anything could happen to Anakin, and it didn't fucking matter just so long as at the end of 3, we saw a connection to 4 of some kind. But with this, I feel like these are gonna be much closer. I mean, 30 years in the future is not a big leap. So.
Yeah, and I like
cool.
that it's picking up real time. Like it's been 30 years since those movies, and these guys are 30 years older. So, like you said, it's not gonna be totally unbelievable. I mean, it's a fucking science fiction movie, so I hate when we say things are believable or not believable. But whatever. Vic, what about you? Yeah, I've never really gotten a Star Wars fan vibe from you, and maybe that's why I don't like it.
Yeah, probably, man. I don't really give a fuck. Well,
I'm sorry, Mike is never the asshole, so that was just hilarious.
he's an asshole when it comes to Star Wars. He's baby.
Yeah, when it comes to things that I like, if you don't like it, it's like you're either with me or against me. I don't know what movie that's from, but that's how I feel.
That's
I watched them all.
Yeah, but you watched the Clone Wars. Did you watch?
That was all right. Yeah, it was shitty at first and got good towards the end.
It got better and better. I still haven't watched it all, but the Darth Maul episodes are cool. Plus, I like the guy that voices Darth Maul. He was he's actually little Star Wars trivia. That's Sam Witwer. He is the apprentice from the Secret Apprentice, the video games, the books, the movies, the comics. He voices Darth Maul. He's a big Star Wars nerd. So cool guy. He was also in that show Being Human. Being Human? I don't know, about a ghost, a werewolf, and a vampire living together like roommates and shit. I don't know. I don't watch it. Anyway, I digress. So, we're talking about the movies and stuff, so we really have no details other than what's going on as far as casting is concerned. We don't even know these characters, so a lot of speculation was, who are these guys going to play? People were trying to match it up to what's going on in the expanded universe, and for you non-Star Wars super nerds, there's the 6 movies which are canon, like this, the pretend for real, so this is shit that actually happened in the Star Wars universe. Then there's the Secret Apprentice storyline, which is canon, and then there's this whole other, and then the Clone Wars, the cartoon show, so that's canon. All that shit really happened in the Star Wars universe. Yeah, the Clone Wars is canon, and in fact they said, if anything in the Clone Wars overrides anything in the expanded universe, then suck a dick, basically, is what they said. When they first, because there was actually some writers that quit because of that. They felt that their work was just left as shit because Lucas came in and Lucasfilm, it's not Lucas himself, but he basically gave the stamp of approval saying whatever we do in the Clone Wars overrides and is actually what happened. So let's say a character died in the Clone Wars cartoon, and that character's living on in the expanded universe. That character's dead, as far as like Star Wars canon is concerned. And to go even further, so the expanded universe. I mean, we're talking books, novels, comics. We're talking like lifetimes worth of fucking media. I mean, I spend so much time reading these books. Like, there's just novels up the ass, and they cover all the way from right after Jedi, all the way up until where Luke has 2 kids one kid. Han's got 3 kids. I mean, all kinds of shit happens. I don't want to spoil anything if you guys haven't read or watched or whatever in the expanded universe, but it doesn't fucking matter anymore because Lucasfilm said that the expanded universe is going under a new title called the Legends, which is basically like a fancy way of saying thanks for the pretend stories. It's basically fan fiction at this point. So all the shit that happens, we have decades.
Doesn't really matter that much.
It doesn't, and
it's like Ultimate Comics for Marvel, man. It's just another storyline.
Right, exactly. It's like it takes place in an alternate universe. And to be fair, I mean, when I first got into the expanded universe, that's kind of how I always assumed it was. I never really thought, because this stuff is not George Lucas. This is this writer, this publishing company. And it's one of those situations where at any moment they could do what they did. So and they had to, because why write movies based on work that they have to stay in the confines of when they can just ignore all this work and make a brand new future storyline? You know what I mean? Like they don't have to work with the confines of the story that's already there. Hi, Anastasia. We're talking about Star Wars. Because it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Anything Star Wars related you guys want to talk about Star Wars Day? That was really it. I just want to talk about the casting. I want to talk about the expanded universe getting the knife to the gut. Because I don't think we're going to see any more expanded stuff really at all. Now that it's not canon, I think that's going to put a black cloud over anything that's not officially canon from Disney / Lucasfilm. You know what I'm saying?
As it should be.
I agree. Now that they're actually doing stuff, it makes sense. You know, like all this shit for the last 30 years was there just a whole, well, not last 30 because we got the prequels, but all the stuff regarding, you know, Han, Luke, and Leia was just shit to hold me over until Lucas decided to either CG the fucking actors and give me a movie I wanted or get the old motherfuckers on a treadmill and get them in shape for a new movie, which hopefully they are.
So wasn't there supposed to be a whole new cast for the Star Wars movie?
Not a whole new cast. No, we got all the original. No, what they're doing, they're going to do a main movie that focuses on the main storyline, like the Skywalkers and Han and that group of people, and then in between years they're going to do a non-related Star Wars movie, like maybe I'm just making shit up, but like a Boba Fett movie or like a fucking a spice runner, which is basically a drug dealer for those of you who don't follow Star Wars, or some kind of smuggler or whatever. They might do a standalone movie that involves Star Wars universe stuff, but not the main guy. So it might touch on it. It might, there might be little like name drops or things like that, but you're not going to see Han Solo show up in any of these movies. I don't think that sort of thing. So they'll do a main movie. Offshoot, a main movie, offshoot, a main movie, because we have another trilogy is what is supposed to be happening, and then 3 other movies that supplement that. Yeah. So I'm excited. As a Star Wars fan, I got a lot of content.
When's the first movie coming out?
2015.
15, right? Yeah, because
it's shit, that's bad as well.
That's what I was complaining to Mike about was, you got J.J. Abrams and you got the original cast and everything seems great, and then you're like, and they have a year to make the movie and get it done and in theaters. Like, I don't know. That's a lot of time just to fucking.
Maybe they've been working on a lot of the shit already.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time to do editing. That's a lot of time to do score. It's a lot of time. It's not a lot of time is what I meant to say in all those cases. It's just feels like a rush, a bit of a rush. I'd be much more comfortable 18 months, a year, or 2 years.
I think it's a little bit of I agree with you. A year is a lot to take all that stuff into consideration, but I also think a lot of that stuff has already been set in motion. I think a lot of story stuff, and they've just done such a good job at keeping this kind of stuff secret that that's the whole thing. Is that we just now got casting information. And a lot of this stuff is going to take place on a green screen, or in super secret, places that we don't know about, and storylines that are probably already there. We don't know how much of these guys have actually been doing or filmed already. As far as maybe B-roll or supplemental stuff, and so there's a lot of things that I think are already in the works and that have been in the works for a year already. That honestly, they probably just waited this long to announce the casting so that they could just go ahead and finish up what they need to finish up with these actors and get them in their places and the green screen behind them.
Did they finally remove LucasArts from the title, part of the?
No, LucasArts is a Disney property, so it'll still.
I thought they just started calling it Disney.
Or Lucasfilm, I think.
Yeah, Lucasfilm. Yeah.
One or the other.
Entertainment.
Lucas is not involved with this, though, right?
To say what?
Lucas is not involved with this, is he?
No, I'm sure he is in some manner or other, but not in any official capacity. No.
That way he won't fuck it up like he did the other trilogy.
Prequels?
The prequels. Yep.
Like I said, I didn't have a problem with the prequels. So.
I don't know how you didn't have a problem with them.
Dude, they were boring as hell, man.
They were terrible. If they tried to, I think the problem with the prequels is they tried to capture the magic of the original 3, and it just wasn't there. They just and Lucas has Lucas. I think the problem is that we fell in love with the Star Wars we were given, right? and George Lucas wanted to give us the Star Wars he always intended. And we didn't want the same fucking thing.
I don't know. It was acting was seemed a little bit wooden. Story writing was just boring as hell. I don't know, man. The action scenes weren't that bad, but I don't know. It's just like
I feel like the CGI was terrible. You go back and look at the prequels, and they're just
for the time it came out.
But that's what's so great about the old ones is that
they stand up.
Still look good. I mean, it's not real.
The CGI don't look good.
It's like
I just think the story and the acting and then the environment and the enthusiasm in that one, it just gets you kind of like into it, makes it.
I think the problem with CGI is CGI. It never looks real. 3 or 4 years later, it just never does.
That's one of my major complaints about the prequels. Like I said, I enjoyed them. I'm not a prequel hater, but I'm not saying they're perfect, of course, and I'm not saying they're better than the original trilogy by any means. But the CGI was just way. I mean, those movies were filmed on a green screen from start to finish. The only things that were practical in that movie were the fucking robes those guys were wearing. Everything else, and some parts of that was awesome. Like the opening of Episode 2 when they're flying in space and they're part of that battle and they're going after General Grievous and the ships are flying in and out and they're dodging blaster bolts. Like that shit's cool. But then when they're just like standing in the Senate building, and it's like shit like that. Like let's build a practical set. Let's make it look good. And some movies do that. They rely too heavily on CG, and it just looks artificial, like too artificial. There's some scenes that are okay. Space battles, cool. George Lucas didn't have the technology we have now to do a space battle, so they did what they could, and it looks good. It holds up to a certain extent, but that's because we're fans and we understand what he had to work with. But nowadays you can do some really, really fucking cool shit. So,
yeah, I don't know.
I understand. I understand everyone's complaints about the prequels. I totally get it. I don't want to defend them to the death, sort of thing. I get why people don't like them, but as a Star Wars fan, I'll take every little bit of Star Wars I can because I enjoy it. And I thought, I liked them. I thought, I really the Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon fight. I mean, it's still one of my favorite Star Wars moments of all time. That shit was awesome, and should have been like 10 minutes longer.
One thing I liked about the prequels was the fact that it kind of went on the opposite way. Like a lot of movies, industries always rely on like the whole destiny, like Spider-Man was destined to become Spider-Man and all that kind of bullshit. But this one turned it around. Freaking Anakin was supposed to be the destined one, but he ends up being the one that fucks him all over.
Yeah, and I don't care what anyone says. Episode 3 is just fucking phenomenal. I mean, like, when the end of that movie, like, I just had such a, like, depressed feeling, like, watching that. Like, just not depressed, like, oh, this movie sucks, but, like, depressed, like, God, these guys are, like, up shit creek with no lightsaber, and it's terrible. And they're, Yoda's going over this way, and Obi-Wan's going over this way, and it's like we're all sad, and man.
I thought it was bullshit how Obi-Wan managed to be Anakin.
Why?
Yeah.
He was more experienced and what now? Obi-Wan's a fucking
man. It's just like, oh, so it's like, I got the high ground, you can't win. It's like, come on, man. What the fuck is this shit?
No, it wasn't the high ground, it was his pride that made him lose, because he thought he could do whatever, and yes, he was super talented, and he did have a really strong connection with the Force. But at the end of the day, there's some shit you're not going to do.
Palpatine was the freaking Sith Lord.
There's some really cool stuff that goes into the background of that. Like again, in the expanded universe, that really dives into how.
The expanded universe is not canon until it becomes irrelevant now.
Right, but what I'm saying is the things that I think there are parts of that are canon, are still canon because they were George Lucas blessed. But that goes back into like his rise through political power, and it was really, really cool. Just learning about what he does and how sneaky of a motherfucker he is. So I'm not surprised. I think I'm
just saying, all of that was have a strong connection with the Force. And like half the time they can detect when like somebody just walks into the place. Yet for some reason, within close proximity, they couldn't detect a little bit. Just a little bit that, this guy.
Well, okay, so if you're in the room with if you're in the room with 4 other Force users and this dude has spent literally generations learning how to mask his presence in the
there are
forest.
cases when they're in there with him by himself. By himself. Okay, I can maybe understand if they're surrounded.
He spent decades training and learning how to mask his presence and be that just guy that's off in the corner that all of a sudden now is in charge of everything. So that's just part of his power. Yeah, he might not have been the best fucking swordsman in the world, although they kind of played him up to be against Yoda, which that was whatever. But his abilities, his big thing was his sneakiness, his slyness. He's a tactician. You know, he's got you at checkmate before you even know what happened, because that's just the kind of Sith that dude is.
All right, well.
If you want to talk about some bullshit, you talk about Darth Maul getting fucking axed so soon. They need to bring that dude back.
Yeah, that was it was like the only good part of the first one.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. The first one is the weakest for me. The second one was a little bit better, and the third one I absolutely love. The third one was great. All right. Enough Star Wars talk. Let's talk about another thing. Apple released some new MacBooks. That's tech related. We could talk about that, right? New MacBook Airs. They dropped the price, so now you can get an 11-inch for $899. They added some new processors. I didn't look into this, so excuse my ignorance. But the newer, better, faster, stronger is what I'm guessing, and for $100 less starting. So cool. That's good stuff.
Indeed.
Something I didn't put in the show notes, but it's kind of Apple related. Is Amazon bought the Comixology, the digital comic book app, really the only digital comic book app. They run Marvels, they run DCs, and then they have their own standalone app, which lets you get all the comics in there. So Amazon bought them a little bit back, and they removed the in-app purchasing ability from their app, just like Amazon had to remove it from their app, because if you guys don't know, Apple takes 30% of everything that's bought through an in-app purchase. So now you have to go through the web in order to purchase things, and a lot of people are up in arms, not just users, but like people in the comic book industry, because it puts that yet another barrier to purchase in front of users, especially casual users that just kind of browse and buy. For our hardcore comic book fans that buy, you buy your comics every week on digital, that's fine. It's no big deal to go to a website, but maybe for just the casual person, it's a little bit difficult. Would that stop you guys? I mean, if you were browsing a thing and you couldn't buy it, would you?
Well, I always bought them through my computer anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter to me.
Did you? Okay. I always bought them in-app on my phone. They did the same thing with Android, except they didn't remove in-app purchases. What they did was they changed over from Google's in-app purchasing model to their own, because in the Android store you can have your own in-app purchasing model because Google does the same thing. They take a percentage as well, but they don't just disallow other purchasing models, which that may change in the future. So I thought that was interesting.
I'm pretty sure it will.
Yeah, I mean, these companies got to make money. I mean, I understand it from Apple's perspective. I understand it from Amazon and Comixology's perspective too. It's just one of those shitty situations that the only people that get screwed are us.
That's probably why Comixology had to be bought out.
Well, I'm glad Amazon bought them, because that's a big chunk of change.
They updated that app. I like the update, actually, to be honest. Even though it removes that function we never used, it made things so much clearer, because before you had to go to your store, and then you had to go to my purchases to find the comics you bought and that weren't downloaded. But if you go into your device, you had no way of accessing cloud stuff while going back to the storefront. So now they've made it so that you can that was I'm like, oh my god,
you're right. The app itself is always a pain in the ass and a giant piece of shit. Going back between it was really difficult to find what you'd bought in the past, and there was no really cohesive sync. It should just show you Amazon for Kindle. It has all your stuff, and then it has your on-device stuff. It's cut and dry. It's very easy. So you know what's on your device, and you know what you bought because it's in the cloud. Did you guys see this OnePlus One? It's been rumored for a long time. CyanogenMod is making the software for it.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
It's basically a super duper spec'd phone for $299. It's got the Snapdragon 801 processor, 16 gigabytes storage, or 64. You can go from 16 to 64. It's got two 2 gigs of RAM for the 16 gig model. If you go with the 64 gig model, I think you get 3 gigs of RAM, or it might be 3 gigs all the way around. I don't know. But anyway, it's got a 3,000 milliamp battery, 5.5-inch 1080p display. I mean, 13 megapixel camera. We're talking big specs in this thing for $299. It's going to be running a special version of CyanogenMod called CyanogenMod 11S, which is just got some tweaks to the theme engine and I'm sure some other stuff. I don't know. This is pretty cool. It's cool to see someone else come out with something neat. It's, good price point. It's going to be available in June. Apparently, you have to get invited to buy it though. So I think they're doing that just to kind of rein in manufacturing because this is a newer company. It's an offshoot of Oppo. So I don't think they have the prowess to really crank out a ton of these. But I don't know. You guys got anything you want to say about this? I know you both are boring ass iPhone users now. So anytime I bring up Android stuff, I feel like you never get to talk anymore.
Well, it's kind of interesting because this is my first. This is going to turn into a big anecdotal conversation, but it's got nothing to do with this phone. Is that okay?
Oh, okay.
Or do you want me to move on?
You do what you want to do, buddy. I'm just glad to hear your voice. Go for it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
This is my first iPhone, right? The 5S, and I really do like it. I like it a lot. However, how long have I had this now? How long has this been out?
It came out October.
October, right? So that's 8 months about ish, right?
7 months.
So 7 months. This motherfucker freezes up on me. It's a goddamn piece of shit. It pisses me off. I can't fucking do anything with it again. It's just like a goddamn. This is why I left Android. I left Android because after 7 or 8 months, my phone stopped fucking working, and everybody who's got an iPhone is just like, oh, come in my face. I love it. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll fucking do it, and it worked great. And then now it stops fucking working. It starts doing stupid shit. I figured it out, Mike. I know it's wrong. I'm a goddamn power user, and I don't know it. Phones are not meant for me.
I think because iOS
7.x and freaking
iOS 6 and previous were really stable. It seems like iOS 7 and specifically the 5S have been really unstable phones. Because I got Aaron a 5S not too long ago, and just today she was complaining about it locking up. She was like, because I asked her, I was like, hey, how do you like your phone? You haven't really been talking about, because I downloaded an app for her, and she was like, you should be able to use the thumbprint. I asked her for a password. I was like, what's your password? She's like, you should be able to use the thumbprint because we added mine. Well, it didn't work.
Sometimes that doesn't work. You got to turn it off, turn it back on. This is a big deal.
Right, and that's exactly what she said. She goes, yeah. The other day it got stuck.
I never had an issue with the phone.
And I had to turn it off. I had to turn it on. And other complaints are just iOS related as far as like the keyboard and things like that. But I mean,
the A7 64-bit move to that is causing some issues, and I mean Android will probably most likely experience the same thing. But yeah, it's been a giant mess using iOS 7 right now.
Well, and we saw that report that we talked about a couple shows ago about apps crashing and how actually Android has less apps crash than iOS. And we're not talking just iOS 7, and we're not just talking about the newest builds on Android. We're talking about just overall in general. Yeah. iOS 6, we're talking about all the way through. So I think Apple does have, huh?
I can see that because the Apple has more apps crashing in a sense. It's just that the OS doesn't crash as much as Android.
The thing is, though, Vic, is the phone used to reboot like every 4 hours.
Oh yeah, the Springboard reboot. Yeah.
And you know what? It fucking worked a hell of a lot better when that shit was going on. Ever since it stopped rebooting on its own, it's just turned into a slug.
No, I know what you're saying, man. Sometimes it'll freeze after you're trying to close out the app. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? But no, that's
and I've seen a lot of like hardcore Apple people complain about it too. Normally, Apple people shut the fuck up even if they're having problems. They're like, okay, I don't want to publicly admit that my phone is having issues. And I've seen on Twitter that a lot of people are having issues. Honestly, I think it's just this new version of software that's out there.
Version 64-bit, move the 64-bit. It's a combination of the two. Especially since you've got 32-bit applications running and ones that weren't properly recompiled, they're horribly memory inefficient on 64-bit architecture, so that's going to lead to issues where apps are going to force themselves to close out earlier. You're going to have memory issues, stuff like that.
That's fine. That's fine that we can explain the shit out of it, but it's still a problem. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying. So it's a problem, man. And Android's going to face that problem soon too.
That's like being like, look, the reason I can't please you is because I have a small penis. So when I insert it, you don't know. And no matter how hard I push it in, you just can't feel it.
Along the lines,
so
I
it's,
can't,
you know,
I
so
can't,
it doesn't matter.
You can because of my medication that's causing me to have erectile dysfunction.
But it doesn't matter. You still got a small dick.
No, it's not that much. It's more along the lines like, you know, you have a, you know, you're pleasing them before, but all of a sudden you probably taking some new medication, and you're on any, you know, side effects, erectile dysfunction, and all of a sudden you just can't do it anymore, and that's what it's more like. So you got to get into something new or go back to what you were doing before. I think that's better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like my analogy better because it makes it sound like you have a small penis.
I know you do, man, but I'm just trying to present it to the audience and try to give them a better understanding of what's going on.
So, you know, that being said, I used to feel like a lot of my problems were because I was, you know, rooted, tooted, and booted, and I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be happy with a phone.
You probably won't, Nick. Go to Windows Phone, man. Go to Windows Phone. You know,
I feel like there's always gonna be something wrong.
Yeah. And it's technology, you know.
If you go with Windows Phone, Nick, if you go with Windows Phone 8.1, the only thing that's gonna be wrong is the lack of ASP. Other than that, you're gonna have great performance and stability.
That's what you know, the phone, the camera on the phone is really.
Yeah.
It's so important to me anymore. I mean, with the kids and them doing stuff, and you're just like, oh crap, I got to get a picture of that. The iPhone is why I was so sick of Android, is because it would just be like, open the camera app and be like, okay, now we're open. It's just like, God, I fucking missed this shit. You know, it's over before it happens, kind of a thing.
Well, Nokia, man, get a Lumia like 1520 or 1025.
I don't want a fucking Nokia. I don't know. I don't know what I want. I fucking deal with bullshit all day long. I hate the idea of fucking with hardware at home. I just can't stand it.
Did you sign up for one of those, like, you know, early upgrade things? I know, like T-Mobile's Jump. I know you're on Verizon. Did you sign up for, like, what is it, Next or whatever?
No, I did not.
No? Okay. I was just curious.
Not Next. That's AT&T. Verizon is like Rate Me, I think.
Rate Me.
I feel like that's how it's gonna have to be for Mike. Is that every 6 to 10 months I'm gonna need a new phone.
I mean, honestly, I have never held a phone for 6 months. Like there hasn't been a time. I mean, I jump phones. I mean, 3 months is like.
I don't want to be that guy though. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, no, me either. It's like seriously, I feel like I'm a heroin addict. Like I see a new phone and I'm like, oh. And then I start to make up reasons why I don't like my old phone, and then I start watching reviews and coverage on the new phone, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta have, like, this HTC One, dude, I sat and stared out the fucking window for the UPS guy for like 3 days for this motherfucker. And don't get me wrong, I stand by my assertion, it's the best Android phone ever made, and I love it.
Except for the camera.
Well, no, overall. Now, the camera is its weak point, but that still...
giant piece of shit.
No, definitely not.
Probably go with Nexus 5 before I get first. Yeah.
But either way, it's not like it's that much better than my Nexus 5. But in my mind, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so great. You know, this is when I get this phone. And then I get it, and I love it, and I do love it. But like, I still have my Nexus 5, and it's like, yeah, I was happy with the Nexus 5. Yeah, the battery life on Nexus 5 blows ass.
I mean, like, what do we upgrade, man? Like, what do we really get new anymore with these phones? Nothing.
Well, we get minutia. It's just we make up things in our mind like that matter, that are like make or break it stuff for us, even though it's really not. Like when a normal ass person's like, okay, well, what's the difference between the iPhone 5 and the 5S? And you're like, well, it's got a
fingerprint scanner.
They're like, oh, I don't give a shit about that. But like for some of us, we're like, oh my god, that's the world. That's the most important thing in the fucking world, you know? And it's like, no, we just have to have the latest and greatest because
the only thing the 6 might actually change, which is legitimate, is a bigger screen. But if that doesn't happen, you know.
Yeah, dude, let me get a 5-inch iPhone, and I'm interested because I like iOS. I like the way it looks. I think it's cool. Now, the only thing that sucks is I really hate the home screen. Like I'm so used to Nova and being able to like have swipeable things and different like just all the little
every time I had Android, I would download Nova, and then I would just get rid of the stupid customizations from like primarily Samsung, and HTC to an extent, but I would just use folders and stuff like that. Widgets usually always crap out or have issues or just didn't work properly or drained your battery. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
except for calendar, the calendar widget was like the only one I will use.
I've got some widgets out there. I've got some widgets out there that are good. But yeah, it's I'll say that now I'm going off on an HTC One tangent. The HTC Sense 6, the home launcher is fucking phenomenal. It's really good. I'm so used to Nova, and I like icon packs and hot swappable icons and stuff that I'm just aesthetically I like Nova, but functionally I actually like Sense 6's home launcher better. But anyway, I digress. Since we're talking about Android, let's talk about Android Silver. So what this is it's a rumored. This is not official, but it's rumored that Android Silver will be basically a Google operated way for manufacturers to do devices that the software, the marketing, everything is basically controlled through Google, except the devices are made by the manufacturer. So think of it.
How great did the marketing work for the Nexus? I mean, that sounds like a freaking awesome program right there.
Well, they never marketed the Nexus, and the Nexus was not designed to be marketed. It was designed as a developer device that just happened to take off. I'm just saying,
like, ultimately, if you're going to like Google to marketing and stuff like that too, this is something you really want to do.
Well, think of it like, and it's a bad example because it's not a very good way of marketing, and hopefully if they do this, it's better. But like the Chromebook section in Best Buy, or like a Samsung store in Best Buy, the little cutouts into your major stores. So this would basically, from the rumors, it would replace it would basically combine the Nexus program and then the Google Play Edition program, which is just you like the HTC One hardware, but you'd rather have stock Android, cool, then you can buy it from Google.
So you can have bloatware, you'll still have bloatware.
Except what?
Except you'll still have bloatware.
No, the Google...
For the Silver program.
No, the Silver program will be stock Google.
Yeah, but
stock Android. Stock Android. It's basically the same experience you would get from a Nexus, basically. And the rumor is that this will replace the Nexus program. And apparently,
under the Silver program, Google will pay manufacturers and carriers of Roost phones designed to a specification with a limit on the number of non-Google apps pre-installed. So you can still have bloatware on there.
Yeah, but you could probably uninstall all that shit.
Yeah, well, you're making assumptions now.
Okay, well, whatever. You still get the Google experience. I mean, bloatware is not an issue. Like, no one gives a shit about bloatware anymore. You can disable all that stuff, and most of them you can uninstall completely. So bloatware is not even an issue. The issue is the main software itself, how quickly we get updates. That's been the Android problem, and we've and it's gotten significantly better. Samsung and HTC have done a really good job this year of upgrading everything. But reportedly, they're going to spend $1 billion marketing and doing this thing. So that's a big chunk of change. We've seen marketing work. Look at Samsung. Their products are inferior, but yet do I buy a Galaxy or do I buy an iPhone? Is the question that consumers ask themselves when they go to a store. Not because the Samsung is as good as the HTC or the LG G2 or the Sony Z1 or the Z1S or the Z2 or any of those phones. It's just I'm blasted constantly by Samsung's retarded marketing constantly. That all I know is that my friend has a Galaxy because they bought a Galaxy and they bought a Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? Marketing can work and does work, and if Google can do that, this will be interesting. Because when you go into a store, the only place that ever sells a Nexus device is T-Mobile. Otherwise, Google's own software, what Google really wants Android to do and look like, you don't get. You walk into any store and you don't get Google's version of Android. You get some bastardized version that has software that Google really doesn't particularly enjoy all over their phone.
The question is how many carriers and how many people are they really going to get signed up? Because if I'm Samsung, I'm not going to sign up for that program. I'm making a killing right now having my own customized version of Android that people will identify me with and want to use and want to continue using for their new product because that's all they know how to use. And that's
Absolutely.
what HTC's kind of does. Who's really going to join this program?
I'm with you. That's the question: is who's going to again. The only people that are going to benefit from this are consumers because they're going to have more choice. But at the end of the day, you got two sides fighting. We're ultimately going to get screwed. It's great that we have the Google Play editions in the Play Store. You got it for all the major hardware vendors. You've got a really good Nexus program if you want a cheap Google edition phone. So we're lucky right now. We have great options available. Silver would make it even better because it's going to put Google's stuff in front of people, but
If people sign up.
Who's going to sign up? Who's going to sign up? But you know what? Maybe we'll start to see
HTC, because they'll probably be desperate.
Yeah, maybe we see HTC do it. Hey, maybe these smaller companies, maybe Motorola, maybe Acer,
not Motorola.
Asus. You never know. We might see some like Oppo. We might see OnePlus do this because they're smaller. They don't have their software. They don't have a dog or horse or fucking gerbil in the race. I mean, they don't need to rely on their software the same way HTC. Really, it's just HTC and Samsung. LG's software is so fucking disgusting that they'd be doing themselves a favor by just not doing it.
G2 wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but it looked terrible. It was great. It did a lot of really cool shit, but just aesthetically, it made me want to punch a baby directly in the teeth.
Oh, is that bad?
Like as soon as that baby got its first tooth, I'm knocking that bitch out because that was disgusting. I was very, very offended.
Did we just name the podcast?
What do we name it?
Punching a baby in the tooth.
Punching a baby in the tooth. Okay. Punching a baby in the tooth. Cool. Oh, thank you. All right. So more Google stuff. We got Vic, not you, Vic, but Gundotra, the guy that's been really the public face of Google Plus and a lot of Google events. Has left the building, and a lot of journalists are saying Google Plus is dead, and they're I can't tell if someone's running
am I dying?
Is that a race car or a vacuum?
The guy upstairs vacuuming.
Yeah. So he left. He's doing something else. A lot of people are already saying Google Plus is dead. It's a ghost town, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Google seems to be getting rid of Google Plus. They even got the sign in with Google Plus. They're slowly changing that to sign in with Google now.
Yeah, I feel like Google Plus is a really good backbone into everything that's Google. I think it was a mistake to do the Google Plus branding because if you just blanket everything Google, sign in with Google, use your Google account, back up your photos to Google, the Google, all that stuff is great. And you can still have Google Plus as far as like social and that kind of stuff in the background, and it costs them probably nothing to run it, whether or not they have a bajillion active users and people are constantly using it, because it doesn't really matter if I post to Google Plus what I'm doing and the foods that I'm eating and where I'm checking in at. As long as I'm using Google services, they're happy, and as long as all of that ties into that somehow, Google wins. So I think Google Plus is here to stay, not maybe in the social aspect that it is today, but the way it links together all those services and things like that, Google will always have that kind of universal integrated thing happening. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean literally. I'd like you to feel me. Reach out and just touch me in my shoulder. Or a Darth Vader head. For those of you not watching, I've got a Darth Vader head on my shirt. That's that. Facebook. I'm going to be honest. I just put this in here because I thought maybe there was something important, but I didn't read a fucking thing. Facebook held a conference called F8. I think this is where they just hit the button on the keyboard. Is that what they do here? The F8. What's the F8 button do? Reload? Or is that F5?
So
I don't know. What does F8 do?
I don't know. Like full screen maybe?
Safe mode.
No, F11 is full screen.
Safe mode when you're booting up.
No, yeah, that's true.
Okay. I just hit it on my Mac and nothing happened. Let me hit it on Ubuntu. No, nothing happened.
You still have your Mac? I thought you got rid of that.
No, dude, I can't get rid of this thing. It's from 2007. It's like a classic. It works perfect. I got shit falling off. I got scratches all over it, but it's kicking, man. It's great. I use it as a media server for my iTunes library. I have like two iTunes. I have two media things running. I have Plex, and I also have iTunes for my Apple TVs because Plex doesn't talk to my Apple TV. So yeah, anybody know what Facebook did? It looks like anonymous login, autofill.
Yes, they're allowing an anonymous login to services.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
I mean, who cares? It's just so much of this was about.
This could actually be some legitimate stuff. I just didn't read it.
And how people are gonna be able to make more money off Facebook. Basically, is what it was.
Man, you gotta start sending this stuff out like a day or two before everybody can look into it. I did not even know about this.
Well, bring stuff you
excuse
know
me,
about
I
to the
thought-
show, bro.
Yeah, I thought you were a guru and you kept up with anything tech related,
Yeah, a lot
seeing
of
as how
stuff
you're in
tech-related,
Silicon
man.
Valley. You
Just
fucking
not this.
fuck.
Just not this, man.
All right, well then we don't have to talk about it. I don't give a fuck.
I mean,
about
how?
it.
Let's talk about the fact that Samsung and Apple's verdict came out. I'm surprised that didn't make the show notes.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I thought about putting it in there, but hey, since we're talking about
I
it,
said, oh, shit. Yeah, I thought about putting it there, Nick. Just
No, I really did.
with
I really did.
The theme of the show this week.
it went in the bucket of I don't give a fuck, and I just had to take out a couple I don't give a fucks and put them in the show notes because we were running kind of light the last.
Okay,
Okay,
So-
well, here's the interesting thing: is that Apple was found to be in violation of a Samsung patent for photo album folder setups, organization. The fact that you can patent that is such fucking horseshit.
The fact you can
I think
patent-
if anything from this patent spat or these patent spats, because there's been multiple with these guys,
Yeah.
that is the arcing theme here is that you can patent that.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
I
the
think
fact
even
that
one
Samsung-
of the guys even said was like, when you buy an iPhone, you're not buying an iPhone because you can swipe from left to right to unlock it, and that's what Apple's trying to tell you. That we're infringing because you can swipe left or right to unlock a phone, and that's the reason that you bought an iPhone, and that's the reason we need to sue so we can get money because you stole our idea, and that's the whole sole purpose you bought an iPhone. No one buys a fucking iPhone because you can swipe from left to right. No one
Yeah.
buys a Samsung because of the way that gallery photos are set up.
Not at all. And the fact that it's just the left to right thing was nonsense. What was the other thing? What I thought was interesting, and it does seem like a patentable idea to me, was how you handle video compression for video calls. And that was something that Samsung felt like Apple violated, and was probably the most interesting testimony of the entire trial was listening to the Apple engineers talk about how they figured out how to do FaceTime and how to make it work, and all the steps they went through to the point where in the beginning it was, we were able to send a picture. And once we had that, and we went from there, and we it was really cool to watch to hear how they had really developed FaceTime from the ground up. Off of they piggybacked some other things that were going on in iOS, but they really did uniquely engineer that. Even though Samsung felt that they stole the whole thing from them, I thought that was cool. To actually hear how this stuff gets done. Because you don't really think about it, you go, oh, video, that's fucking easy peasy, right? It's just, you got some shit and you make it happen. But apparently that stuff's all patented, so you really have to be like, how the fuck are we gonna send video? How do we capture that? How do we then packet that up and transfer it and then decompile it on the other end and then make it all work? And it's fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm with you. The most interesting stuff that's come out of the patent spats hasn't been the patent spats. It's been like the information that we've got from the two companies legally being able to basically just pry into shit. So we've gotten cool emails. We've gotten Steve Jobs talking about blowing shit up. We've got Samsung being like, we got to fucking kill the iPhone with marketing. We've gotten explanations on how they form different technologies and stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that's cool because as a consumer, we normally don't get that inside view, but when it's a legal matter, obviously all that shit's on blast, on display, so we can all check it out. And that's been the cool stuff that's come out of this. But otherwise, it's just like two kids just fucking and it's funny to me that it's the two kids making the most ridiculous amounts of money. Like no one's losing money.
It's the one kid. It's Apple, and Samsung's like, well then fuck you. We're gonna sue you for these patents, And it boiled down to like $129 million for Samsung in damages for violating a shit ton of patents, basically. I'm not how much that comes out per device, but. And we're talking a shit ton of devices that were in violation.
And these are like old ass devices. I think this stuff is like going back to the Galaxy Nexus. We're like 2010.
I mean, you're talking, just a drop in the bucket, really. And the fact that it's the whole thing's just mind-boggling. And Samsung, what they lost their patents on were things that were just Android. They weren't even Samsung really. It's just Android.
Right. Well, they did bring in Google quite a bit to try and defend a lot of stuff from what I read.
Well, basically to say, hey, you're suing the wrong motherfucker. Like if you got
right, exactly. That's what was interesting is they were like, these aren't Samsung things, these are Google things. Here's a Google guy to tell you why it's Google and it's their fault. It's like, whoa,
Right.
way to bite the hand that feeds you, Samsung. You bunch of fucking assholes.
You know, Google, Apple doesn't want to go to war with Google.
I don't think they can.
It's a proxy war, really. I mean, they're attacking Google ideas in Samsung. They're going after Google's biggest manufacturer, if you will.
Right.
But
I don't think. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think at the end of the day this matters not a shit to anyone.
I don't even know why they do it. It's such a
except
waste
the lawyers.
of
The
time.
lawyers are getting paid.
Paid.
You know, if you're one of these Samsung Apple lawyers, you're just like, hell yeah, fucking infringe, please, because I'm getting money. You know.
And it just makes the companies look bad in the PR sector.
Well, you know, obviously it doesn't hurt them. They're the two most profitable.
How do you
smartphone manufacturers.
how do you hurt them? How what could you possibly do to hurt them? There's nothing.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they don't give a fuck that they look like assholes doing this because you can't hurt them.
But nobody wins. Nobody comes out ahead of this unless you consider $130 million worth all this effort.
No, they paid their lawyers more than that. I guarantee
And
it.
so it's like, to what do you, I mean? Apple had to have believed that something more was going to come of this, but it seems like the harder Apple pushes, the smaller these things turn into. It used to be, entire phones were considered no longer accessible in the country. Even though they stopped selling them years ago,
last time they won like $4 billion or something like that. It was the last or $2 billion. It was and I think Samsung ended up talking them down to 75 or 750 million or some shit. But the chunk of change from the last lawsuit was significantly higher than this one, and I think you're right. It's coming down to like each time Apple tries to pull this shit, it matters less and less, and they're gonna it's diminishing returns. They're gonna get less and less the more they keep doing this bullshit.
And this
makes
time
them
it
look
was
like an asshole.
I think Apple probably thought if they could get a jury, they'd get better results because people would just lean their way, and it's just
it was a jury last time. It was a jury last time.
Was it? I thought it was a judicial ruling.
Well, I'm sure there was probably 50 of those, but there was the last one, the big major one was with a jury.
I don't
because remember there was all that stuff that they were rigging the jury and stuff, that Apple had like people on the inside that they had coached to, or because they were from California they felt like loyal to Apple as a company.
I thought it was one guy the foreman or something who.
Yeah, he was an engineer and he was swearing, or not swearing, he was swaying their decisions and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
All kinds of fucking bullshit, man. It's like a TV show. I feel like we're watching like
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives. Oh, Pedro, I love you.
No,
but because you're dying of cancer, I cannot touch you in your pee-pee anymore. Plus, I'm your janitor.
But Juliet, I am your Romeo.
Oh no, I am more interested in Juan Pablo. He is a doctor.
Pablo.
He has a sharper syringe.
He's my cousin, though. How could you?
Because he only lives with 14 of his relatives.
But this is true. I have 20 in my house alone.
All right, I got a great segue. One. Silly Mexican accents lead into the 22 Jump Street trailer, which I'm really excited to see. And your boy was like, "Oh, Sleepy, I heard around the barrio you're the Mexican Wolverine," which is fucking hilarious because the guy did look like a Mexican Wolverine. And speaking of Wolverine, they're gonna kill the guy off. Marvel's gonna kill Wolverine, like straight up kill him, and kill him. Wolverine, they're fucking unkillable adamantium Canadian rageaholic. They're gonna fucking kill him. And yeah, we all know in comics when you kill somebody that doesn't really mean shit because they all come back. Look at Captain America. For those of you who don't know, he got killed and then came back later, like a couple years later, a year later, something like that. He came back. But
the Robot Chicken DC Special 2, they actually make fun of that again. Batman's at the funeral for Green Arrow, I believe, and he's like, you know what? Fuck this, man. He's just gonna come back anyways. Why am I even here doing this? Blah 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 blah. Walks out, and then you see Green Arrow like in his own funeral, alive and well.
Well,
so how do you get back here? Oh, magic amulet.
And from what I've read, now this changes, of course, from year to year and from writer to writer, but the way that they're writing this, and Superman died too. Don't forget that. Remember, Superman died.
Yeah, Superman died. Thor died. Fucking.
I mean, everybody's died, but the way they're making this sound is from a standpoint of finality, of closure. It was the wording that they used. So I'll be super surprised if Wolverine doesn't come back, but at the same time, I'm definitely interested in checking this out.
Now, Wolverine will be back in a year, dude. We'll have like 12 months probably of just fake Wolverine.
Well, so what they're gonna do?
Cyborg Wolverine, a dude pretending to be Wolverine, all that kind of bullshit, and then he'll come back.
So what they're doing is basically we're gonna catch up real quick. So Wolverine, some alien virus fucked him all up, and now he has no healing factor. He's still got his fucking claws. He's still Wolverine. He's walking around in like some crazy like suit now to protect him because he's still fucking Wolverine. He's crazy and he's got to go fuck shit up. And everyone's like, you don't.
How does he let the claws come in and out if his hands can't heal?
It still hurts. It's just scab.
Well, it hurts, but it doesn't scab over anything. It just.
Yeah, maybe they're just open wounds. He's got Vaseline on tap. I don't know. Anyway, so well, he's a fucking furry little guy. Of course, he probably smells terrible. So anyway, so leading up to the death of Wolverine, which is going to obviously cover the death of Wolverine, they're going to do a 3 months to live, and then that's going to change to 2 months and 1 month and whatever. The gurus are going to be reading and discussing this story arc coming up here. We're going to start with 3 months to live, which is going to kick off this summer, and then that'll tie into the death of Wolverine coming in August. So as a discussion topic, as to expand the show and do some more cool shit, we all love talking about movies and comics here at the Gurus, and tech is cool and all, but that shit gets boring after a while. So of course we're still gonna do the normal show and talk about tech, so don't worry. But we're also gonna do like a little book club, and we're gonna start with 3 months to live from Wolverine. He's one of my, if not my, absolute favorite comic book character ever since I was a kid. He's also very impactful, and he's one of the most recognized superheroes out there. So we feel like this is a topic,
and the
character
most overrated superhero out there.
And shut the fuck up.
It's true, man. You guys think Wolverine could beat fucking anybody.
This will cover, a lot of people like Wolverine. So if you want to follow along with us, make sure you check out 3 months to live. We're going to do it on a issue by issue basis, and we're going to read it, and then the next show that follows that release, we're going to talk about it. So we might be doing this with some other comics as well, but for sure we're doing Wolverine. So make sure. I think Batman has another tie-in, another story arc that starts in the summer. We might be doing that one as well. Comics are easy to talk through, so it's not like it's going to be a novel where we have to sit here and discuss a whole lot of shit. So it's not going to be super lengthy. We're going to keep it legit. We're going to keep it cool. So check that out. Wolverine, he's about to die, and the Gurus are going to cover it and talk about it because fuck.
Epic.
Mm-hmm.
Epic shit. Epic shit. Speaking of comic books and stuff, did either of you see Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, it was crappy.
Okay, well, don't. I didn't want to. I was gonna say let's talk about it, but if Nick hasn't seen it,
Nick, are you planning on seeing it anytime soon?
Yes.
Okay, we'll wait till 2 weeks from now.
If I haven't seen it by the next show, then too fucking bad for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, you're gonna be disappointed, man. That movie sucks.
I recommend. I do recommend checking it out.
I know it is a waste of time.
And the reason I recommend checking it out is because I heard the same thing. One of my good buddies, who we have a lot of the same interests and likes, texted me and was like, "This piece of shit was worse than Spider-Man 3. Don't even waste your time." And then I saw reviews on Twitter. I saw other reviews in the media, and I saw everything from "this is a giant steaming pile of shit" to "this movie was awesome and amazing, like Spider-Man." So I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go see it because the reviews, there hasn't been a consistent, this movie sucks or this movie's awesome. So I wanted to go see it for myself, and you'll hear on the next show how we all felt about it. So that's that. So let's move into Guru Gotta Have It, Gotta Trash It. Any cool shit you guys are digging on this week or hating on this week?
Get the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game on
No.
iOS.
Oh, the game. Okay, I was gonna say, don't talk about the movie yet,
On
motherfucker.
iOS, Guru Gotta Have It. It's a pretty good game. Good web swimming mechanics, fairly decent combat. It's enjoyable. $5. Get it. Check it out. Enjoy it. It might be on Android. I don't know.
It is.
Cool.
It's free, bitch. Oh.
Yeah, doubt it.
No, it is.
It's probably the same game.
No, it's the same game.
Okay, fine. Whatever. Nick Ball.
You got anything for us, Nick?
Well, last week I picked 2048, the tile sliding game, and so this past week I was going through and I was like, my games are stale. I don't have a lot of games on the phone. I'll go see what's out there. Check it out. It's a Guru Gotta Trash It is fucking mobile games. Where have you gone? What have you done? You've all literally it's all turned to shit. There's fucking 10 different knockoffs for Don't Step on the Tile, which is some fucking thing. There's 15 different iterations of 2048, and then you got this fucking,
2048 was an iteration of another game.
I don't care, Vic. I'm just let me rant. Okay, and then you got this Clash of Clans shit and every iteration of that. It's just the mobile gaming platform is just it's literally become a copycat game. Just who can copy each other. They copy the icon. The names are almost the same. It's just you go to categories they shouldn't be in, and they're there. It's just a different copy. It's so frustrating, and stupid.
I'd like to chime in because I was doing this. I was scrolling through games last night trying to find a new game or something to play. Because I do this thing where I download a bunch of games and then I never play them, or I play them for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and I get another device, and my game data doesn't transfer over. So I've basically narrowed it down to I can't play your game unless there is some type of cloud account backup that will let me continue my game on another device because I switch devices so frequently, and shit happens, and you want to make a good game, but I don't want to invest. There's Shadowrun was a game that just came out. There's Modern Combat and all these other games that have these really cool graphics and great storylines, for a mobile game, and decent online, multiplayer stuff. But if I can't carry over like my achievements, if I can't carry over my game save data, I just don't give a fuck anymore, So I literally play like 2 games now because they're the only ones that have a reliable backup and restore method, and it's not universal. Google builds this shit in, and no one is taking advantage of it. I'm sure iOS has something similar, but no one takes advantage of it, And it's such a pain in the ass to find a good game that you can rely on, that you can come back to and know that you're going to be able to log in with your account and have all of your shit available to you, and it doesn't fuck up. Fucking frustrating.
It is. It's just the mobile gaming platform that we were promised hasn't fucking evolved one tiny bit since it launched. The games might look a little bit better, but it's still the same crap being delivered. And it's moved to such a scammy in-app purchase model that it's ruining what could be really good games. Because there are some good games with in-app purchases, and I play some of them, and I do use in-app purchases, and that's great. And some of them are really good. Then other ones, it's like they just suck so bad, and unless you spend $10 or $15 or $20 to build up your car or your character or whatever, then it's not even worth playing because it's such a grind that it takes the fun away from playing the game. And then you're left with, okay, I've spent $10, $20, $30 in in-app purchases on this game. What happens when I get a new phone? Well, all my fucking purchases are gone because they didn't have a fucking backup for your cloud service or whatever. It's like it all ties in. Make it simple. Yeah. I mean, it's just,
I'm with you.
It's just not. It's not where it should be. It hasn't evolved with the hardware. It hasn't evolved with the user.
Yeah, exactly. Like like you said, the graphics are great. You know, there are some really good games. I'm just because I'm annoying. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna name some. So if you're in the same ballpark and you want a cool, this is for Android, of course. I'm sure some of these are for iOS. You want a game that's good, fun, not crazy in-app purchases, but has cloud syncing. You can pick it up on any device. Let me give you the games that I play. Quiz Up is one of them. That game's a lot of fun. Riptide. GP2, it's a wave runner racer. That's a lot of fun. Neon Shadow, that game is awesome. First-person shooter, basically, it's like arena style, like Quake. It's basically Quake. And Shadowgun Dead Zone. That's like a Gears of War. You know, over the shoulder, third person. And Reaper, that is an RPG. All of those are really fun games. Some of them have in-app purchases. Some of them don't. But the in-app purchases aren't necessary. It's just if you really want them. And they're all back up to the cloud in some form or another, so you can pick up where you left off, and they have good multiplayer. Some of them have good multiplayer, so that's Guru Pro Tip. Oh, my Guru gotta have it's a TV show Supernatural because it's fucking awesome and I love it. So there you go, watch it. It's on Netflix, all 7 seasons.
What?
Yeah, that just happened. I just gave you my Guru gotta have it in 2 seconds.
Top Gear episode or season 20 just hit Netflix today.
Oh, did it? Thank
Yeah.
you. That's what I'm doing after I watch Game of Thrones.
Wait, what? Hit Netflix season 20?
Yeah, no, Top Gear season 20 just hit
Top
Netflix.
Yeah, Game of Thrones season 20.
Yeah, I'm
No,
on
not
Game of Thrones
no.
season 4 begins tonight. For me.
Oh, you haven't started watching it?
I've watched 3 seasons of Game of Thrones in about 3 weeks.
Oh wow, you've been piling it in, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty much all I've watched. But
Honestly,
it's good to watch it that way because the movie's really slow.
Yes, that's the best way to watch. Some shows, I talked about this with some people on the internet, so that some shows are like you miss out on some things by binge watching, and other shows you get just great benefits by binge watching.
This is the great benefit show. I feel like shows that are seasonal, like Dexter is a perfect example of a show that each season is of itself, and it has a very small, overarching storyline. You know, but Game of Thrones is Jesus Christ. It literally it's just a continuum, but from one to the other. So I can't. Right. I don't know what I'm going to do now, having to wait for episodes. That's going to be the issue.
Let me tell you, it's terrible.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
In fact, I've got cuts all up and down my arm from where I've tried to soothe the pain by just slicing into my flesh with a knife, thinking about the next episode of Game of Thrones, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help. I think I'm going to start doing heroin.
You mean what's Sugar of the Poppy? What do they call it?
Something.
Milk of the poppy. Milk of the poppy.
Milk of the poppy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get some milk of the poppy. And I'm just gonna be on that until the next episode. Then I'll sober up for it, and then I'll get back on it. Like, it's already been a week. It's already been a fortnight.
I know, right?
You don't know a fortnight.
Why can people just say 2 weeks?
A fortnight is 2 weeks. I was like, what the fuck is a fortnight? I had to look that shit up. I'm an idiot.
We read a book in like 4th grade, and they used fortnight, and you know, it was explained to us then, and it's one of those things that I've just, for whatever reason, have never forgotten.
So it's not a night you spent in a fort, is what you're saying?
No, but we did do that in 4th grade. Whoa, mind blowing.
Oh. No, hey, whoa. What if you spent a fortnight in a fort?
In a fort? Well, I think that's where the term comes from. Is as a soldier, you'd have to go do your fortnights, and it was like a 2-week cycle that you were, manning the fort.
Yeah, that's legit.
No, I really think that's where it stems from.
No, I'm saying it sounds legit. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Nick, tell everybody where they get a hold of you.
You can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/DRNICBALL. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Gadget Gurus.
All right. Victor, what about you, bud?
You can get me at vic@thegadgetgurus.net, Twitter, bdub722. Also, make sure to keep checking out Boom Explode Podcast with Jeff F. and Gamer Chris, two of the most recognizable names in gaming today.
Yeah, all right. You guys can find me MobileMike01 on Twitter. You can also hit me up on Google Plus because I check it every day. Check it every day.
I get notifications via email every time Mike Florio posts something to Google Plus.
Do you really?
I really do. I get notifications for all my friends in my friends circle.
Oh wow. Well, I'm gonna take advantage of that now. You guys can get in touch with us. You guys can get in touch with the show podcast at thegadgetgurus.net if you'd like to email us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Gadget Gurus podcast episode number 233, and the Gadget Gurus are out.
Laters.